First of all, Jim, tell us about the day you met HK.
Well, it was October 16th of 1999. I stopped at a fast food restaurant to purchase a cup of coffee. And as I was about to leave the restaurant after I got my coffee, I realized that there was a young man sitting at a table by himself listening to a radio. And the first thing I noticed about him, he had braces on both legs. And it was kind of a cool morning. He had on shorts and a dirty T-shirt. And I just inquired why he was there. There was no one with him, no adults in the restaurant. And I was told that he was the grandson of the cashier who had just sold me the coffee. And I asked why he was there, and I was told that his grandmother couldn't afford a babysitter. So during her work shift on Saturdays and Sundays, when he wasn't in school, he came and sat at the restaurant till she finished her shift. And I asked how long he sat, and the lady that told me said he did it just from 8 till 5. And if you count that up, that means on a weekend he's spending 18 hours sitting in this restaurant listening to the radio. Then I found out that he was blind, and I was just moved like I'd never been moved before by meeting someone that had a disability. And I went over and introduced myself to him, and that started what today is a 17.5-year friendship, and we've been buddies ever since.
And it is a wonderful friendship. And HK, we'll talk about your extraordinary memory in just a moment, but regardless of that, that day when you met Mr. Bradford, which is what you call Jim, you'll never forget that day. What do you remember of that day you met?
Well, that was Saturday morning, October 16th, 1999. It was, temperature was 52 degrees that day, and my grandmother and I got up around 6 o'clock that morning and got dressed, and then we went to the restaurant, got there about 8:30. My Grammy fed me breakfast and then clocked in at 9 o'clock, and then left me sitting there listening to my radio. And then about 10:45, Mr. Bradford come in and got him a cup of coffee, and then he come over, introduced himself. We had a brief conversation, and then he told me that Brenda had a list of things for him to do today, so he needed to go. But I knew then, after talking to him, that he was gonna be a special friend.
I mean, an incredibly special person. And what's more, we've got a hint of your memory there with the incredible detail of which you remember that particular day. And so Jim then set about this amazing friendship, and from this is a young boy who was really experiencing very little of the world. You, as a team, opened it all up. He's done all sorts of things with you.
Well, that's exactly right. He just, when I met him, he really couldn't carry on a conversation very well. He couldn't answer my questions. He could ask 1,000 himself. And the morning that I met him, I left after about 5 minutes of talking to him because I felt like that I was being interrogated by the police because of the questions he was asking, but he wasn't answering any of my questions. But anyway, eventually, after I had been going back, I started going back every weekend and spending maybe an hour with him. And after about the 3rd visit, I told him, I said, HK, I do about the same thing every weekend, and if you don't stop asking those same questions, I'm not going to come back to see you. And he's pretty smart because he never asked that series of questions again, and then he started opening up and telling me about himself. Yeah. After about 3 months, I asked his grandmother if I could take him from the restaurant and just to get him out to let him do things. And I took him shopping at a Home Depot store, and from there we started doing a lot of things together, and his world just opened. Well, yes, he, for his 13th birthday, a friend of ours gave him a flight to Kentucky from Tennessee, which is about an hour flight, to have lunch up in Kentucky at a special restaurant. And so he was the co-pilot that morning, flew up, and we had lunch, and then he flew the plane back. The friend that gave him the birthday trip has joked about to his wife that he fell asleep coming back and ran over two buzzards. But HK says he didn't hit a thing, so he got us back safely. But he rides horses, he drives a boat, he's been to snow skiing for 6 consecutive years for a week. The first time he went 6 years ago, the instructors voted him the best blind skier ever. So he is just a well-versed, all-around kind of young man. He's gotten to do things that a lot of young men his age have never gotten to do. So it's been a very special friendship, and he's just remarkable.